segment, as we head to the SMB across borders, we are going to look at some of the particular stories making headlines across the world and across the African continent. And officially, if we are to look at that, pretty much if we are to see what is happening across the borders, we're officially going to start up with the first story coming in from the United States. The SMB across borders. According to what is happening, United States jobs growth are stronger than expected as the economy shrugs off the Omicron. Apparently, when you look at the jobs that are in the United States, the US saw strong hiring last month, with the fact that economies are trying as much as they can to recover from the 2 years pandemic. The US saw strong hiring last month despite disruption which was caused by the Omicron variant of coronavirus. That was the third wave of corona. Employers added around 467,000 jobs, the Labor Department said in the United States. And that was far better than the analysts had predicted, because the analysts had predicted that there would be a slow rate of employment, or there would be few jobs for the people because employers would be scared. But surprisingly, the employers just added 467,000 jobs on the already existing jobs. So that means the chances that many of the people who had been laid off during the pandemic returned to work, and there were more employment opportunities for those that were jobless at the time. And the jobless rate inched up from 3.9% in December to 4%, but that was due to more people looking for work. So there were 3.9% in December of the unemployed. But the reason as why they shot up to 4% can relatively be because there were a number of people who were looking for new jobs. Maybe others had been fired or laid off, and they were looking for more jobs. And the jobs are available, apparently. The analysts said that robust job creation was likely to add to the pressure on the U.S. Central Bank to raise interest rates next month. And as a matter of fact, the monthly survey also revised up its estimates for hiring in December, providing more support for those who say that the economy will remain strong even as officials withdraw stimulus policies that were put in place at the start of the pandemic in 2020. Well, you could see that for the US, the job opportunities are rising. And also reports claim that even in Canada, there are available jobs for the people in there. Okay, that aside, still with the SMB across borders, back to the African continent, and we take our eyes to Nigeria, where Nigeria's renters or tenants may no longer have to pay a year in advance. This is the real estate sector in Nigeria. This is one of the most when you look at the countries with the most competitive and effective real estate sectors in Africa, you can never go without mentioning of the name Nigeria. The lawmakers in Nigeria are debating a law, and this particular law is scheduled to make annual upfront rents illegal in Nigeria, whereby someone has to pay in advance for a full year. You can imagine that. While authorities in the biggest city, Lagos, are opting for a voluntary scheme beginning next month, the Lagos state government is hoping that by acting as a guarantor in a new payment system, landlords will be encouraged to switch to accepting monthly rents. Now, many residents, especially young people setting out to start a family, like the idea of monthly rents. More so when you look at the young people, normally university, that wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm supposed to be independent. They go out in there. As one of the world's fastest growing cities, demand for housing in Lagos increases every day, and houses do not come that cheaply. When you look at Nigeria, 2-bedroom apartments close to the city's main business district, Victoria Island, go for between $11,000 and $22,000 a year, while low to middle income housing can cost anyone between $500 and $5,000 on the city's mainland. Well, so according to the new law that may be set, the Nigerian tenants may not have to pay 1 year in advance. Here in Uganda, if I'm to draw back a little bit, most of the tenants pay 3 months or 4 months, depending on the person. Initially, it was 2 months as in advance, but now most people ask for 3 months or 4 months, others even 6 months. Okay, that aside, let's take another flight to India. Meanwhile, still with the SMB across borders, looking at the headlines or breaking stories in there. India wants to launch a digital rupee and tax the crypto profits, among the other stories making headlines across the globe. Now, India is planning to launch a digital version of the rupee, becoming the latest country to join the rush to create state-backed virtual currencies. The country's central bank expects to introduce the currency using blockchain and other technologies sometime in the new fiscal year, which begins in April for India, according to the Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The digital payments have grown dramatically in popularity in India since the late 2016, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi banned the country's two biggest rupee banknotes. Apart from homegrown players such as Paytm, there's also some of the world's biggest tech companies, including Google and Facebook, have joined India's cashless payments boom. So when you look at that, India wants to launch a digital rupee and tax crypto profits. I think the other country that got itself that initially accepted digital currency as a legal tender, Venezuela, last year, as people can trade with Bitcoin, sell the Bitcoin. Even the country that we left with, Nigeria, people in Nigeria in there trading with Bitcoin and all those cryptos in there. But getting all the details regarding crypto trading, Forex, you can catch it up with the Trading Dawn with Marcelino Makune on a daily. So keep it up with Smart 24. And summing up with our SMB across borders, we take a look at our neighbors in Kenya. This very year, Kenya will be having polls. The elections of Kenya, as they will be deciding, will it be William Ruto or will it be the other gentleman? When we look at that, so the Kenyan government will inject $176 million in the Kenyan Airways. When you look at this, or the other name, I've got the other name, is Raila Odinga. One of the two contestants in there, Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Amid the news that Kenya Airways is in the process of restructuring its debts, as well as reports gathered show that the Kenyan government plans to inject a sum of $176 million in the struggling state-owned airline. Kenya Airways, which is one of sub-Saharan Africa's most notable airlines, has a debt stock of nearly $1 billion 2 years down the road. And the airline has been struggling even before COVID came in. However, COVID hit it hard. So when you look at most of the African airlines, and most of the civil aviation sector, most of them are still struggling heavily. The company recently commenced consultation with the likes of C. Barry Consulting and others on how to restructure the loans. And recall that according to reports, the move by Kenya Airways to restructure the debts followed the government's decision to scrap an earlier planned nationalization of the airline. So currently, they do not want to scrap off the airline, but they want to, the government is intending to inject more money. I think these are some of the moves by the president, the outgoing president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has served his 2 terms. In Kenya, you serve 2 terms, and then it's a goodbye for you. Thanks for the services and all that in regards to business and all that. Okay, that's it from the SMB across borders. But before we even break off, let's try to take a look at the commodity updates. The commodity updates and regarding produce coming in from the different markets, pretty much. So when you look at these commodity updates and prices or produce prices, to help you budget accordingly for the women who normally do the the cooking, or to the maids, or even if you are the man who does the shopping, you can clearly try to look out of these 4 markets that we definitely have for you to try and see how best you can get a product from either the market of Nakasero or Kaleri. Or you can choose between Chibuye and Nakawa to see how best you can. And also for the restaurants in and around Kampala, those are some of the markets that you can choose your products, and they can actually be of help to you. So